Wow, so I've not really posted much on YouTube because of the censorship, and social media has got a lot of censorship. Um, I think my greatest achievement was getting up to 54,000 followers on TikTok, and it's not to say, oh look at me, because some of the content was was trying to explain what was happening to me in this sort of great awakening, and that, and also how to cope with it, because your life changes, um, your view of the world changes. The people around you don't seem to be the same, even the close member families. And the reason why you're awakened just now is because you've been on a journey, and for each and every one of us, it's different. We've been on journeys where we've went through a lot of hardships, maybe a lot of loss, even being a bad person for a long time. And for some reason, those steps that we took to suddenly realize that the world isn't, it's not the way we thought it was. We had to go through those steps, and we had to find that connection. And of course, I remember when I first woke up, it was because, and I remember coming into the house, and I was watching all these documentaries on the lead up, but it wasn't until I saw a lawyer called Rainer Filmic, and he had been at a London protest, and he was on a big screen, and he was telling it, and then all those other doctors that I had heard, all those other theories from John F. Kennedy, 9/11, aliens, the moon landing, you name it, they all suddenly started to connect in my head. And it's like and I didn't know how to control it. It's, it's like when you get an answer to one of the hardest questions, and you can't write it down, but you want like everyone to know. You want to give your results to everyone in the room, and you want everyone to believe that what you've just answered is the right one, and that you want everyone to be on the same page. And but the more you explain everything, the more further down rabbit holes you go. And even though it seems plausible to you, and but when you sit and you start to listen to yourself, and suddenly realize, well, wait a minute, I've got to hold myself back. This is crazy. Of course, no one will believe me. But the only way to explain one thing is to go down all these paths that leads to something that a lot of people are not ready for. And some people just, uh, some people awaken at other different levels. And that's not to say because you're at a certain level that anyone below you is, is any less or any more important. It is just because through our journey, and through our experience in our life, it's some of those experiences have been able to maybe take a shortcut or take the longer path, because we either came from a bad place or we came from a self-loathing place, and or maybe we've been very religious, so it'd be harder for types of people that have already got a strong belief in something in order to get rid of it. So they've had to go on that longer path. And so yeah, these last 3 years is definitely waking more than 15%. So I tried to get back on. I lost my account on TikTok. I was scammed, basically. Um, Thankfully, I didn't lose any money. But by that time, during that time, I was going down. I was doing some great lives. I was listening to other people's stories, and so many other people have different theories of the world, and everyone was arguing who's who was right. But my objective is that everyone's right because we've all got the ability to question it. And if we sat down and listened to everyone's ideas, maybe the same thing will happen again, that all these clues will come together if we just listen to everyone and don't just say, no, that's not what I done in my research. But that person's also done their own research. And maybe, and some people ask me, is the earth round or is the earth flat? And I have always stated, if I was to believe in either way, then it cancels out all these other theories. But I respect your opinion on what you do and what you do believe. Because we don't all have the answers. But we know that the answer that's presented to us in this life is definitely far from the ultimate truth. And so, what I'm hoping to do on this channel, which I try to do on my TikTok, is point you in different directions or different videos on which to see. And hopefully you stick around. It's not going to be a fancy TikTok channel with an intro and everything else. This is just hopefully a guy just trying to get his story out there, and hopefully you'll take time to listen. And maybe in your comments, I'll read out your comments if it's about your life story as well. And in the next video, maybe I'll go into my journey to this sort of what I love to believe it's a spiritual journey, but I'm not a light worker of any kind. What I believe has happened to me is that I took so many years trying to accept who I was and my own truth, that I don't have any fear of speaking those feelings out anymore, because it took me years to feel good about myself. It took me years to not take in other people's negative attitude towards us. So it's given me that sort of freedom and to speak my truth. And along the way, I've learned so much compassion for all you brothers and sisters out there. And the more I've been on this journey, the more I know that we're all connected. And, and it's just this society that we live in that has divided us and is continuing to do so with everything that separates us, from Black Lives Matter to LGBTQ to feminism to anything, because I believe we already reached that place where we accepted everyone. But now, because of these woke or certain people out there that is stating, who's the bad guys and what's the right thing to say and what's the wrong thing to say, where deep down we were so connected, and they didn't want that. So they created war. They created fear within us. And becoming spiritual and realizing that we are eternal when it comes to our consciousness. Once you get past or get rid of your fear and it makes you really untouchable. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Probably nobody will see it, but hopefully it's done me a world of good, because I feel like I'm doing something.